And then also when you ask me for something, do you want me to grab the mouse and draw it? No, that's not helpful for you at all. But also, what do I know, right? So now we can give and take. So I think that part of the process has been really hard for me. And I'm to be completely transparent as both a person who isn't, my strength is not project management. My strength is drawing and designing. I really like drawing and designing. So as I grow into these things and go through and you start to mentor, all of a sudden, like you, Rachel Friedman, comes and says, I have a question about something. It's like, well, it'd be a shame if I did just grab the mouse. Like I said, just go back on that. Because although that might be helpful once, you're like, oh, cool, that's done. You're like, wait, how was that done? Because now when that comes up again, I got to ask you again. That's weird. So I think like that's been really interesting with like Josh and now Natalie, these people that are growing into their project management. How am I helping with my experience level as opposed to being something somebody's waiting on? Like, oh, that guy will get to that when the toddler's not on his lap, like whatever that means, right? Or somehow if I could clone myself and work 80 hours a week, so work 2 40-hour weeks, right? Is that still helpful? Because it's not letting Natalie grow into her space and having her version of the wood residence where she's going to draw a lot of it, if not all of it. And then she's like, oh, wow, that's different than that went, or, oh, that's how that goes. And that's why I'm so excited that we have these sharing moments. Andrew has a share to think about, like, what did we learn from Gales? Okay, well, we learned that you can save money in the long term and that $5,000 is not much when you're talking about $695,000 home. On the other side, if a client keeps moving walls constantly and you think that's keeping them happy, and the firm is like literally now not only losing money, it's losing time with other clients, now you have a problem 2 ways. One is the client is sucking up your time. The other way is it's making you worse to your other clients. So I would say that was like, if I look back at the wood residence, I can see a lot of thresholds there that went beautiful because the client was just awesome and really, really, I mean, Carrie has an incredible aesthetic on her own right. So that was just incredible to just be a part of. And then KGM, they do good work. Like, it's not that I was in their way, but I'm saying, like, come on, like they did a lot of work here. They know hardy board and bat details. They know trim detail, but they're doing this thing as a custom home. So that would be a good reflection for me.
What's your like perspective on the project itself after it was finished? Like, are you happy with how the trusses came out and found like that a lot of the things that you guys did were like super successful and innovative, or were there like, it doesn't sound like there were very many hiccups aside from that tree.
Yeah, I would say overall, I wish on one level, I still wish like, oh man, that wraparound porch, I've never done one with a full wrap like that. It was just so pure. But at the same time, like the client's thrilled and I'm thrilled for them. I think if I had done that blunt face elevation more, I would have had a bracket and sort of a beaked thing. I've just been talking to you, just think about like that kind of thing. So, that is what it is. But I would say, yeah, it seems like the client was really happy. The contractor, we didn't get in their way, any major hiccups, no flaws, and the project is ready for this next bout of climate change to at least be responsible in this area. I mean, the question comes up, right, Rachel, like, should we even build here, right? Should we be there? But there was a home there that was definitely not as resilient as this one. And this thing is, again, low tech, pretty smart. It has an HVAC unit, but I'm saying it also has the potential to be better, and it also has the ability to get tons of solar on that roof to sort of generate what it needs. So again, because of that wraparound porch, I'm really proud of how it sits in the landscape. It seems like, and again, it wasn't fully wrap anymore, but it does have that ability to protect its fenestration in ways that we understand from building tech class, stuff like that.
So it sounds like the client was really happy with the result. Did you guys get a lot of feedback from your consultants that you worked with, or I don't know, any?
Yeah. Ramon has no trouble with us. If anything, like I said, as he's grown, it's been sometimes a little bit of a bummer. And I say that to you, just like, because he could like answer a question right one off. Right now, you have to go through the the company structure, make sure, because he's one of those things. And I think design award wise, I see that. I think we're submitting maybe this year. I think we had to wait to photograph it. And I think and that was something. And then as far as press coverage, the project does have rainwater catchment, has certain things, but I think it'd be more of internal press. Like Andrew will blog about it at some point and talk about like the responsibility of building in these areas and also just trying to situate yourself in the landscape. But yeah, I wouldn't say that this is not a new typology, so it doesn't deserve credit for that. But it's just a nice thing to think about, like good savvy custom home design that borrows from generations of good principles of, like, you know, roofs and attics and slopes and stuff like that.
Super cool. Yeah, it sounds like this project. I really want to see pictures of it, which is actually my next question. I couldn't find on the Dropbox. Do you know if there's like a folder I can use to like see pictures or
You know,
CDs of it or anything?
let me see here real quick.
And thank you so much for letting me interview you. This was really insightful.
Oh, of course, my pleasure. I'm asking Andrew right now. I feel like with KGM they use a particular photographer, and so I'll look into that for you. I will, not that you can't ask him to, but I'm saying we can play with that. The only thing, like I said, I apologize, and this is only my error, not yours, or not the firm's, is that with Andrew, and if we can just check with him on the cost per square foot thing, if you want to ask that, because Andrew would have, since KGM was involved, it's not like they're looking at Andrew for that number, but Andrew can give you an understanding, like, look, the client knew this, but we were doing the square footage. It was not a, again, like I said, oh no, that's more than we thought, let's trim it. So I can't say that that's abnormal for custom residential, but it's still something to keep an eye on. You don't want to be like stupid bloated, right? In something like, oh, cool, I designed a 3,000 square foot house that could have been 2,000. Geez. But, and I should say, Rachel, one of the takeaways from this, right, is the wood residence is smaller than a home that I'll ever own, right, and live in. Oh, Andrew said it's in the website folder on Dropbox. Let me check here. I want to see. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm sending it to you right now, Rachel. There you go.
Sweet. Yeah, I was looking it up yesterday and I was like, oh, I can't find anything for this.
Yes, it's called Rock Farmhouse. Rock
Oh,
Farm.
okay.
Okay, so you can see that aerial view. You have the garage. When do you want, Hudson? What's wrong? Why are you moving? Why are you moving that, bud? Yeah, you can't move that. I don't want you moving that, honey. I don't want you moving that. So you can see that tree in the third photo, Rachel. On the right-hand side of that third photo, that's an aerial looking down. You have the garage in the foreground, and on the right,
Oh, yeah.
you can see that. Now, of course, the landscape's bald because of grading they had to do around. It wasn't a major grade, but go through. That's going to have, like I said, more xeriscape, defensible space around it. It's not going to be like huge foliage, but you can see the vineyards down there. And then, yeah, that tree, if you bit in another 6 feet, you'd start hitting that canopy, of course, and you'd be, or majorly, and you'd be going through. So instead, they lopped off those edges. That's Evie's hairband. You can play with it. And then you can see, can you see the propane tank to the right-hand side? Do you see it hidden behind the shrub there? So in the house, you wouldn't see it. It's like a white tank. So
Yeah.
there's your fuel. And then you can see the scissor truss in the front with the door and side lights and this kind of stone of the protrusion there. And then the chimney comes out right on center. You can see the chimney stack there. And then if you go to the next photo, you get that wide open living space. So those trusses do all the spanning. And then you also are carrying a beam across that catches the scissor truss to get that big wide open span. In that photo of the interior, that you're standing in the dining room, looking at the kitchen, front door, and then that built-in casework for entertainment that's there. So that gives you a sort of understanding of the home.
So which wall was the existing wall?
So the existing wall would have been the right-hand side short wall of the house there. And by the way, it's not there. Like, they reframed that whole damn wall. So if you look at the first photo, which you're looking at, you're actually looking from the other side. So that wall is cloned on the other side of the house, but this is a brand new wall. The other wall has at least used parts of the existing foundation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So again,
Really cool project.
yeah, very simple. Like I said, it's not necessarily like going to be I think it'll be fine. Like I said, design wise, they're loving it, but I would not say this is like we reinvented any wheel. It's more like just good things. But you can see that kitchen window. Your paper, you're looking for paper?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, so Rachel, I would say that was a big deal. Was sort of like creating that open space inside. So that's why it doesn't look like your traditional farmhouse in that sense, right? There's not a lot of cellular wall because you can take advantage of contemporary construction techniques and get that huge span in there, right? There's no way a farmhouse has a kitchen, living, dining space like that in traditional sense, but it obeys all the other logic
I was
of
gonna
that.
ask
Right?
about this beam in this room. Is that like
That's all. That's all
beam?
false. Yep, she did.
Oh, okay.
That's an interior choice. I've never seen that before until today.
Wait, why did they decide to go with this? I'm just
Oh,
wondering.
I think Carrie likes, if you see their sort of mantelpiece protruding out of the brick as well. I think she just went with that kind of idea of like over the window, you'd get this kind of like decorative header that looks like it's supporting something, right? It's almost like a false lintel. So they're acting like it's like a big wood lintel, kind of expressing
Okay.
that. Yeah. But obviously it should meet, in my opinion, if you're going to do that right, it should meet a beefier part of the column on the inside, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, we did general interior elevations for our projects. And if you look at the photo of the kitchen island looking out, you can see how the lintel does pass by as if in the wall, it's sitting on the stud, the king studs. So it almost looks like, again, that it's supported by something as well, even though it's false in that way.
Do you have any like pictures of like the CDs, or is that in like the Dropbox under rock
I
music?
can get you that set. Yeah, I could get you that set. Yep.
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's in Dropbox because of its age, but certainly check. But yeah, at least you get. Yeah, I can definitely get you a set there.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to include some of the drawings and stuff in my report, if that's okay.